Standing in your true adventure, how does it feel? It cannot feel less than the most powerful story you can conceive of. Standing in your true story cannot feel less than your most advanced type of narrative structure. Standing in your true adventure cannot feel less than being in the most advanced story you can conceive of. Being in your true adventure cannot feel less than being in the most advanced story you can conceive of. Recognizing the taste, feeling the exact taste of your adventure will place you into this spine, the exact direction, the spine of a vowel, the ground of a vowel, the spine, the axis of a vowel, the axis of a vowel, the axis of a vowel. Tasting the nature of your true story, tasting the nature of your true story, tasting the nature of your true story, that is, all substances of existence together. Was this such an absurd thing to ask, that the substances of love that I know through my longing to flow freely through my veins, and suddenly from his eyes a violent rain of clarified sentences. All substances of conceivable existence together. And I learned how to rain these clarified sentences from my eyes, but I was not able to take their lines and build a body with them. All substances of conceivable existence together. Hearing my concern, my fear, my worry, my friend reached for his backpack and took a strange kind of leaf and simply let it go to fall onto the ground. This leaf was able to trace the source of a raindrop. This leaf was able to source the exact origin of a sentence of clarity. My friend told me, if you want to master sentences of clarity as lines, to weave bodies of insight, you must become able to trace every sentence back to their origin, back to their experiential birth, back to their birthplace. Trace any sentence of insight into the very body of their realization. Trace it back to the exact horizon of experience that made it possible. I watched the leaf closely and I observed that it was like two wings flying together in opposite directions. I wanted to understand better, so I started to mimic it. Why would these wings be able to trace a sentence back to its origin? When you can step on to this exact discipline, when you can stand in the discipline of the empty world, the discipline of the empty world, the discipline of the empty world, the discipline of the empty. Come on. And if a question could ever be possible, I should like to ask again, how does one hold together all substances of will inside the fragile vessel of their spine, or the fragile membranes of their world? The discipline of the fucking empty world. Come on. Come on. Come on. Bite through, come on. When I finally entered the room, I was first reminded that they have no bodies. They will reveal themselves in any kind of shape that is most adequate. I was reminded that this is not a place of common imagination. Not only that you have to produce the right formulation of the gesture that you most long for, not only that you are responsible for producing the bodies that are most adequate for what you can desire me to act as, but also continuously for yourself the right liberated form that is the right shape for the will, the form of will you engage. Okay, let's try this as a structure of dialogue. Let's say there is just this morphology of a hand that we stand in as dialogue, and I try to be clear about the sentences that guide the birth of the fingers, and I will try to listen to how you will respond with corresponding fingers. I just wanted to stand with you on a generous ground, on a vastly generous ground of cultural visibility. There are very distinct species of space, species of infinity. Discern well which you want to stand in. Your will shall be consumed according to this choice. Well, of course I wanted to stretch as far as my logical flesh will hold into any definition of space. So this is rather a question. How far can we walk onto the ground of perfectly relevant speech? How far into childhood can we stretch the scale of this hand the reach of this dialogue? Well, let's see. How deep can you stretch into joy without having any reason? For example, just drawing a line. So let's say if you're in a hurry for an answer, the nature of reach, the capacity for scale, the weight, the power depend paradoxically on the capacity for subtlety. Okay, since it is my last finger, I will take it back to the original intent. I will not let you go that easily. I need to get clear. When I tended towards architectural, geometrical, structural, it was my longing thus. Please help me find answers that would be relevant, truly relevant in the world. And I still stand thus. So tell me, related to architectures of culture, how is the achievement of the pure joy of the child relevant? Bite through this flesh of ignorance. Practice shifts of encounter. Practice modes of encounter. Stand in shifting modes of encounter. Stand in. And suddenly the space around me trembled like this, just like a voice would crack open the salt lakes of the retina. And somehow I desired to watch the unfolding of the bones of this symbol further. Okay, let me ask you this. You have a child. Of course, as a parent, you want them to grow. And certainly you would feed them well so that they may grow well. But there is also food for the mind and food for the heart. You would want their faculties well developed in unison. Okay, so if I may translate this drive of shape like this, I would say that this sentence is: a child will grow and conquer vaster playgrounds, just like humanity will grow stronger and explore the universe in and out. And if I see it like this, the thumb having rather architectural, monumental height, coming towards the viewer, rather than extending in the distance, it feels like its force comes from the inside, like soul force. Thus, I would translate the sentence as: growing is not only conquering a bigger playground, but also discovering new types of games and especially new friends. Just as you said in the beginning, there are very distinct species of space, species of infinity. Discern well which you want to stand in. Your will shall be consumed according to this choice.